had been reading in form after form about flat tires, breakdowns, and the condition of the James Bay Road. Today I found out what these fellow adventurers had been talking about. How crazy is this road? What the? It's been this super wide gravel road that look at all the mosquitoes, black flies, jeez, always. So day 3 started off to mixed reviews. Overnight the weather had changed from crazy hot, where I was sweating just lying on my cot trying to sleep, to cold and rainy, where everything was damp and cold with no chance of warming up or drying off, and the rain was starting to make its way through my cheap $35 big box store tent. I would show you some footage of me in the tent going over the plan of the day, but unfortunately, by the end of the day my action camera would be lost to the Trans-Taiga in just the first 50 kilometers. Not only did I lose the footage from the tent, but I also lost all my extra footage for the entire day, including some great shots of a bear encounter, a great conversation with a local at kilometre 381, and last but definitely not least, some footage from the Giant's Staircase. After 3 hours of being held up in the tent, the rain let up enough. I started to pack along with 3 other groups of campers who had all been relegated to their shelters as well. By the time I had finished packing and doing some maintenance on the bike, all the others had left, and I walked down to the boat launch a few steps away from the campsites to spread some of my father's ashes in the Rubert River. As I turned back to leave, there was a bald eagle flying almost directly above me and circled towards a bridge on the Billy Diamond Highway. It was a wonderful moment that was also lost on the action camera, but will stay with me forever. Back to the James Bay Road. Here we go. Very cool. The plan for the day was going to be stopping at kilometre 381 and then up to Long Point, dip my feet in James Bay, then head back to the Giant Staircase and into the town of Radisson to fuel up before heading to camp on the Trans-Taiga for the night. I did not book the dam tour, which you must do several days ahead of time. I've heard it's a must if heading to Radisson, but I wasn't sure how the locals would be towards visitors, and this trip was planned as the ultimate social distancing of the Trans-Taiga. Plus I had already planned to come back for a more dedicated James Bay / Billy Diamond Highway trip with a friend next year, when the lockdowns and restrictions are hopefully lifted and we can fully explore the towns, reserves, and all the James Bay area has to offer. I had hoped the condition of the road from yesterday was going to continue all the way to Radisson, and that I would make the same kind of time as the previous day, but that turned out to be wishful thinking. The themes of the morning ended up being rain, cold, and construction. It was getting so cold that I started shivering and couldn't find a way to get myself warmed up again. This dog looked like he originally wanted to chase me, but decided I wasn't worth the effort. The Pontax River is actually made of 3 separate rivers, and is one of the few river systems up here that is excluded from diversion and development for hydroelectric projects. The rain would start to lift, and then the road would deteriorate. And then the road would improve, and then I would be stuck in construction. And this went on all morning long, with no end. I had been reading in form after form about flat tires, breakdowns, and the condition of the James Bay Road. Today I found out what these fellow adventurers had been talking about. After passing a couple groups of fellow riders, I was more determined than ever to get to kilometre 381 and warm up and dry out. The good news from seeing all this construction is knowing next year, 2022, the road should be in amazing shape and primed for another trip to Radisson in the James Bay region. Only next year I'll be sure to include better rain gear and put the insulation in my riding gear first thing in the morning. I had finally made it to the station at kilometre 381 and was looking forward to fueling and then warming up in the cafeteria, but unfortunately the cafeteria was takeout only due to the pandemic. Thankfully the rain would stop shortly after getting here, but as I would come to find out, the temperature was forecast to go down to 3 degrees that night. All of a sudden, the plan to sleep in my tent on the Trans-Taiga didn't seem so appealing. You have coffee? Yeah? Alright, and the washroom first? Or I'll move my bike first and then I'll come back.